for my career next time, and I found myself agreeing. I quit my job as editor of marieclaire.co.uk to go freelance and decided I would give it a year, investigating the Danish happiness phenomenon firsthand. I would look at a different area of living each month to see what Danes did differently, from food to family life, from design to daycare and education. Each month I would throw myself into living Danishly to see if it made me happier, and if I could change the way I lived as a result. I would seek out sociologists, historians, scientists, economists, politicians, psychologists, everyone, in fact, to try to uncover the secrets to living Danishly. So we emigrated, swapping the bright lights and bustle of the UK's capital for rural Ueland in the middle of winter. I didn't know anyone, didn't speak the language, and had no job. My Lego man husband left to go to work at 7:30 a.m, and I was all on my own. Almost. Our dog, a woolly mutt of unknown origin, his mother being something of a local belle, had come along for the ride. But canine conversational skills are substandard, and I started to worry that I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. But that was 10 years ago, and I'm still here. The cultural gap between the UK and Denmark has only widened since I wrote about my initial experiences in the Year of Living Danishly, 2013. Since then, we've had Brexit, Boris and the Trump years. My first book ended with a newborn in tow. Now, I'm a mother of 3. Born here, my children, a redhead and IVF twins, have only ever experienced the Viking way. Despite their dad and I both hailing from the UK and planning on just a year of living Danishly, here we are, a decade later. Mostly because we're incredibly disorganised, time has flown by, and it's all our children know. So I have an alarming amount of skin in the Viking parenting game, whether we end up staying or not. Parenting Danishly is strangely anachronistic at times, like an Enid Blyton book without the bigotry. And mini Vikings are different from children back home. They eat differently, they learn differently, they play, dress, even sleep differently. They sing all the time, run, jump, climb, fall and get up again, out in nature for hours a day. It's cold and wet and uncomfortable, often, but they cope. In Denmark, children play outdoors, schools have no gates, and babies are left to nap outside in their prams, because 79% of Danes trust most people. A statistic I found extraordinary. I don't trust 79% of my immediate family. Okay, so Denmark is a small country of just 5.8 million people. But that's about the size of South London, and I didn't trust everyone there either. In the UK and the US, levels of trust have fallen dramatically in the past 60 years, from around 60% to 30%. I grew up in the 1980s and 90s with the full force of the Stranger Danger campaign. Along with generations of schoolchildren, we were taught to trust less, with annual police talks on the perils of people we didn't know. My American friends had McGruff, a hard-boiled crime dog with a gravelly voice who warned of danger at every turn. To be a child in the 1980s was to be acutely aware that you could be done for on any given day. But in the Nordic countries, less so. Trust in Denmark has always been high and has actually been on the rise by a few percent in recent years. Children are taught that the world is an essentially good place, and most people are not out to get them, which is madness, delusional, liberating. If you trust the people around you, you can be more relaxed, as my oldest Viking friend puts it. She's a formidable, flaxen-haired Nordic goddess with 3 children who gets things done, apparently effortlessly, and is surprised when others, i.e. me, don't. But she has a heart of pure Viking gold and has been helping me decode the Danish way ever since our arrival. And this much I learned early on. Vikings typically trust that children will figure things out, learn how to use their bodies, and manage their surroundings. Internationals always joke that there's no such thing as health and safety for Nordics, contrary to what Brexiteers would have us believe about Europe. Instead, there are lit candles everywhere. 4-year-old children saw wood, and 6-year-olds walk the family dog or bike to school by themselves. As my veteran Viking friend says, our children grow up free because they trust. This trust seems to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Denmark is the least corrupt country in the world, and even politicians, notoriously untrusted in most countries, enjoy a relatively good reputation. Nordic countries regularly top the UNICEF rankings in terms of happiness.